Welcome back, and let's bring in now Anti-Defamation Commission Chairman Dvir Abramovich. Dvir, thank you for joining us. The polls are showing Victorian Premier Jacinta Allen is the favourite to win the Vic state election. This is despite chaos in her state, not the least of which was the events of Friday night. She didn't bother to turn up to the synagogue right away, still no arrests for the dust fire bombing back in December. Do you think the state government's response has been good enough here?
Look, before I get to that, and thanks for having me, driving on the way here, I was reminded of Charles de Gaulle, the former French president. He wrote a book, a memoir, and the first line was, I've always had a certain idea about France, and I've lived here for 39 years, Shari, and I had a certain idea about Australia as an open, tolerant, welcoming, safe country for Jews. But that belief no longer holds. It's been absolutely shattered, and it's clear to me, and it's clear to everyone, I think, that something very bad is happening. And I've spoken to Holocaust survivors who came here after the war, and they said to me that in living memory, they've never seen an expression and the levels of anti-Semitism that we are seeing today. The tsunami of anti-Semitism has been rising since October 7, and what happened over the weekend, the incidents at East Melbourne synagogue and at the Miznon restaurant, was simply plunging the knife even deeper into the heart of every Jew. And yes, I welcome the establishment of the task force by Premier Jacinta Allen, but I hope that it's a task force of action, not just press releases. We are getting to a point, and I want your listeners and your viewers to hear this. We are getting to a point that being Jewish in Australia, going into a synagogue, wearing a Star of David or a yarmulke, going into an Israeli restaurant, or even owning a Jewish business, means that you ask yourself, will I get home tonight? Or will I end up in hospital? And being Jewish shouldn't carry a risk assessment, and it shouldn't mean that you have a target on your back, but that's the terrifying situation that we find ourselves in.
So with this crisis of social cohesion across Australia, but particularly acute in Victoria, everything else that's going wrong with the state, the budget, transport, is it difficult to understand why the polls are saying that Jacinta Allen is set to be returned?
Look, I'm not sure about the political punditry. All I know is that for too long we've had elected leaders, not just in Victoria but across the country, excusing the violent rhetoric. There are people out there, Shari, who revile Zionism, that they've lost sight of the fact that we are human beings. They legitimize us, they defame, they dehumanize us, and they turn us into objects of hatred. And guess what? When you turn people into objects of hatred, you declare open season on the Jewish community, and it's not a surprise that people feel that we are fair game for violence and for harassment and for intimidation.
No, indeed it is. And I should mention that crime broadly is a serious issue in Victoria as well. Of course, we have seen this extreme anti-Semitic violence on the weekend, but crime has been plaguing the state for months. Dvir Abramovich, appreciate your time. Thank you so much.